Located at the crossroads of Eastern Europe and Western Asia, Armenia is a small yet remarkable country, part of the region known as the Caucasus or Eurasia. With a territorial area of only 30,000 square kilometers, Armenia is smaller than many of its neighbors, situated between Turkey and Azerbaijan, with Georgia to the north and Iran to the south. Despite its modest size, Armenia has an estimated population of around 3 million people. An interesting phenomenon in Armenia is the large diaspora of its citizens, many of whom work in other countries. They play a crucial role in Armenia's economy by sending remittances home, which are essential due to limited business opportunities within the country. Tense relations with Turkey and Azerbaijan impact Armenia's trade and diplomacy, making trade partnerships with these countries challenging. Without a coastline, Armenia relies on overland routes through Georgia and Iran and air connections for trade. Yerevan, the capital, not only serves as the administrative and cultural center, but also the heart of Armenian trade and a popular tourist destination. The text ends with an unexpected promotional segment, appearing to be an advertisement for a work-from-home scheme. This segment promises time, financial, and geographical freedom, inviting readers to check a pinned comment after a documentary to discover how to achieve similar financial results. In 1922, after being absorbed by Bolshevik Russia, Armenia became part of the Soviet Union, joining the Transcaucasian Socialist Federative Soviet Republic, along with Georgia and Azerbaijan. During the Soviet era, Armenians experienced a period of stability despite political repression and religious persecution, particularly under Stalin's regime. The death of Stalin in 1953 brought significant relief to the Armenian population. Life in Soviet Armenia improved, marked by the rehabilitation of the church and the construction of a memorial honoring the victims of the Armenian genocide in 1967. With the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, Armenia regained its independence, albeit facing economic challenges and an armed conflict with Azerbaijan. Economic tensions were exacerbated by a blockade imposed by Azerbaijan and Turkey. Additionally, a devastating earthquake in 1988 rocked the region, leaving a trail of destruction and causing the death of around 23,000 people. Today, Armenia experiences a reality of economic and social dependence. In Yerevan, the capital, a climate of concern and tension is noticeable, especially among men, who seem to be more affected by stress than women. Armenian women, on the other hand, display remarkable elegance and vivacity. They frequent cafes, stroll in the squares, take photographs, and dress with style and sophistication. It's interesting to note that due to recent events in Russia and Ukraine, some people have temporarily moved to Armenia, bringing their own stories and experiences with them. While walking the streets, it is noticeable how cultural heritages blend together. Among the pedestrians, some women exhibit characteristics that suggest descent from countries like Russia or Ukraine, reflecting a diverse cultural influence. The preference of local men for women from these nationalities is a notable phenomenon. However, the predominant language remains the native one, with English and Russian also widely used in daily communication. The ethnic composition of the population reveals a strong connection to the Caucasus region, differing from the typical traits of Slavic peoples. People from the Caucasus region often have darker hair and skin, common features in neighboring countries like Georgia and Azerbaijan. Men tend to have dark hair and beards, while women are characterized by dark hair and a more tan skin tone. On public streets, you can find a variety of people, including workers, students, and the elderly. Many seek business or job opportunities in Russia and other European countries due to limitations in the local market. Young people in particular are frequently seen in urban areas. Family life is also a striking aspect, with married couples emphasizing a patriarchal family structure. Women, although initially active in the workforce, tend to focus on family and child-rearing after becoming mothers. The importance of motherhood is accentuated, given the small size of the local population. With an approximate population of 3 million, the country faces the need to increase its number of inhabitants to ensure its future continuity. It is interesting to note that out of this total, around 1.6 million are women, and approximately 1.4 million are men, indicating a higher female presence of about 200,000. The nation confronts the challenge of young men emigrating to other regions of Europe, a situation that threatens internal demographic stability. Additionally, there is a notable fascination among local men for sports betting. The overall population seeks quick ways to become wealthy, often viewing the local job market as insufficient to achieve their desired prosperity. In Yerevan, the capital, cleanliness is a standout aspect, and a variety of vehicles adapted to various income levels traverse the streets. A curious feature on the main streets of Yerevan is the tendency of pedestrians to cross the roads with little attention to traffic signals, often disregarding red lights if they find it convenient, partly due to the lack of effective punitive measures. A particular challenge in Yerevan, especially during the summer, is the excessively hot and dry climate with low humidity. Water sources scattered throughout the city are a frequent stopping point for tourists who take the opportunity to drink water and take photos. The city has an efficient metro system, which facilitates the movement of citizens. Near metro stations, especially in busier areas, it is common to find second-hand bookstores and shops selling Soviet-era antiques. Yerevan, the Armenian capital, boasts a cultural mosaic enriched by its relics from the Soviet era. The architecture in the heart of the city unveils a historical past, with many buildings surviving for over 30 years, displaying distinctive features of that time. Urban squares, especially on weekends, transform into hubs of cultural and social activities, attracting crowds to enjoy their vibrant atmosphere. The city's green spaces and cafes are favorite leisure spots where the friendliness and warmth of the residents are readily visible. Cafe workers, known for their hospitality, often interact with visitors, even posing for photographs. Social life in Yerevan, however, requires some caution in conversation topics, especially politics. Due to internal political tensions and delicate relations with neighboring nations like Turkey and Azerbaijan, political discussions can be sensitive and potentially controversial. On the other hand, Armenian culture values cordiality. A simple greeting can trigger warm responses, from smiles to friendly conversations. Republic Square is an epicenter of social activities, hosting the city's major events. For everyday transportation, white minibuses are a common sight, serving as a practical option for residents and visitors alike. Police presence in Yerevan is robust, with officers in uniforms that evoke a sense of security and order. While government protests occasionally occur, reflecting citizens' political engagement, the police maintain constant vigilance to ensure public tranquility. A notable challenge in the city pertains to infrastructure and services for families with children, indicating an area for future improvements. In a detailed analysis of the city, a notable shortage of playgrounds is observed. Families visiting with children often encounter the absence of areas specifically designed for youngsters, resulting in children frequently playing on public streets under constant supervision. Surprisingly, this deficiency persists despite an average of 2 children per family in Armenia, reflecting a significant gap in municipal investment in recreational infrastructure. When ascending to the city's highest points, one can admire an impressive panorama of mountains, including the iconic silhouette of Mount Ararat, situated in Turkey. The view from the top of Yerevan reveals the region's unique geography and proximity to the Turkish border. Additionally, the aerial perspective of the city shows its modest extent and the scarcity of modern and tall buildings. For those interested in renting properties in the city, it's important to consider that luxury and comfort are often limited. The real estate market is dominated by residences and apartments that often require renovation, with facades in neutral tones. The average cost of renting a 2-bedroom apartment in Yerevan is approximately $500 per month, a value considered high by the local population. As for transportation, it is common to see older vehicles, including classic Mercedes models and Russian-made cars. Armenia, a country of striking contrasts, faces significant economic challenges, primarily due to its dependence on imports and limited domestic production. This directly affects the standard of living of the population. To sustain themselves, an average family of 4 in Armenia needs a minimum of $1,000 per month, although many get by with less, experiencing economic difficulties. One of the most notable aspects is the presence of elderly individuals working in the cities. They remain active due to insufficient pensions and low wages, a harsh reality in a country where the monthly minimum wage is only around 75,000 Armenian drams, equivalent to a mere $180 or 900 Brazilian reais. Comparatively, the average monthly income of an Armenian citizen ranging between $300 and $400, falls far below the standards of other European, Middle Eastern, and American countries. However, Armenia has its charms, especially in the wine sector. Local wines are highly esteemed both nationally and internationally, and are a highlight in the country's luxury restaurants. Furthermore, when exploring rural areas, far from the capital Yerevan, a more traditional and authentic way of life is revealed. These regions, with their vast untouched lands and mountainous landscapes, offer serene natural beauty. In rural areas, despite basic infrastructure and less developed roads, life has a different pace. Old cars are common, reflecting the economic situation. For visitors, Armenia offers a unique experience, with its mountainous views providing a sense of peace and the opportunity to observe daily life in picturesque villages. In contrast to the cities, life in the rural communities of Georgia has a different pace. Here, families do not rely on store-bought food. Instead, local residents engage in homemade baking, especially the traditional shadi bread, which is baked in wood-fired stone ovens. In rural areas, community collaboration is common. During the bread-making process, villagers come together to bake bread, sharing it among all the houses in the village. The constructions in these villages reflect a rustic and authentic style, with many houses made of natural stone and wood, without paint or modern finishes. The charm of life in Georgian countryside lies in its simplicity. Residents grow their own fruits and vegetables, and many families have their orchards and gardens. They live sustainably, consuming the food they produce, and many engage in animal husbandry and subsistence farming. Despite a quieter and nature-connected life, Georgia faces its own challenges, including political and economic issues that can hinder modern living. However, it remains a fascinating destination for those wishing to explore unique cultures. I appreciate all those who have followed me on this channel and contributed to this journey of cultural discoveries. In 2024, we will have even more incredible content. I wish you all a wonderful end of the year filled with luck and success. Keep following for more adventures. Goodbye, friends.